Oh my goodness, like my face got bigger. That's so weird. Um, I don't know why that happened, but I'm super present. Um, Good morning. I have to sit back. I don't know what happened there. That's so weird. Anyway, there's a close up of my face. My goodness. I hope you're all well. Oh my gosh, here I go again with not knowing what day it is. The 12th of January. I should know that. It's a very dear friend's birthday today, and I should remember that. So, welcome to Wednesday, January 12th. I really wish I understood why my face was so big, but I'm not going to try to correct it just because I'm going to waste a lot of time. But um, anyway, hey, I hope you are doing well this week, and I hope that your January is off to a good start. Um, you know, the new year brings with it both the excitement of what's to come, and also, if you're like me, a little bit of hesitation and sort of like what's going to happen this year. So I do hope that it is going well for you, and I know for myself it feels like 2022 is off and running. I have so many sort of non-work related things on my calendar that I feel like I'm actually already in March, at the end of March. You know, I'm uh, I'm traveling with my daughter back to Los Angeles for a huge Disneyland trip for her, um, because she didn't get a 18th birthday present, and she's going to be graduating from high school this year and all that good stuff. So there's that, and I come home, and then a friend comes to visit, and we're going to go check out um, uh, Greenville, South Carolina, because I don't know anything about the South. And so we're just going to come out and take a trip, and then I come back. And then I think I'm going back to LA for a job. And then I come back, and then my sister's coming into town for 10 days and then help me celebrate my birthday. And, and then it's the middle of March. It's like, wow, that's just so crazy. So I feel like I'm already, working to catch up. So anyway, that was like way too much information for Facebook Live. Um, so our topic this morning, and I am going to try to keep it brief. I have an appointment at noon. I got to drive to, and my little dog is in need of me this morning. I'm just going to talk briefly about brand imaging commercial reads. I have a workshop coming up in 2 weeks, and it is specifically about brand imaging commercial reads. And I think um, a lot of people kind of go, "Huh, what's that?" And what makes it different than other types of commercial reads. And so that is what I'm here to talk to you about, um, and kind of highlight the differences and why you need the read in your tool belt. And so let me get to it. Okay, so there are a number, excuse me, there are a number of reads on the commercial spectrum, if you will. We've got everything from brand imaging commercial reads all the way, I would say through national, regional, local, TV commercial reads, and then we've got radio reads, and we've got national radio reads, and we've got regional radio reads, and local radio reads. And so television commercials are distinctly different from radio reads because with television commercials we have picture, right? That should be obvious, but picture makes a difference in how we as voice actors approach the copy, because, and these are strictly my opinions, and there will be people who disagree with me, which is totally fine. Like, we need a variety of approaches to commercials, so this is mine. Um, so um, in television commercial reads, the primary storyteller of the commercial is the picture. So we've got three things working together. We've got picture, we have music, and we have voiceover. And we, as voice actors, we sort of we think of ourselves, because we have the words, as the primary carriers of the message. And in fact, that is true for radio. If you don't have a voiceover, you don't have anything. You don't have a commercial, really. You might have some music, but that's not a commercial, right? So we are in radio commercials the primary storytellers and movers of information. So with television commercials, the picture actually tells the story. And the way that we know this is that any one of us, we all have, we turn down the sound on the commercial and we still get the general idea of what is happening, right? Of what story is being told. And it's because we take in that story visually, right? So the next step in that is that the music is the primary mover of emotion, right? The puller of the heartstrings, right? Not the voiceover. So if the music is now I'm talking about TV commercials now, right? So let's just be really clear, because this whole notion of brand imaging reads is really fine tuning, right? They are subtle clues, and it's the fine tuning of a commercial read, right? So if the music is the primary mover of our emotions, and the picture is the primary storyteller, what's our job, right? This is the question that we answer in this workshop that I teach about brand imaging commercials. And our job as voice actors is to support the picture, support the story, and support the music, support the emotion with language. We do it with language. That's our secret sauce, right? Like, we bring the language. Now, a lot of us in general commercial workshops are taught to, and appropriately so, to be expressive and to put music into our reads and to sort of billboard the product, billboard the price, billboard the sale date, right? These are all the things that we learn how to emphasize, right? Without sounding, too pushy, right? We want to sound natural and all those good things, right? So in brand imaging reads, we have to take a completely different approach, because the information, the primary information, is already being carried. The emotion is already being provided, right? So we actually have to back off of what we've learned about other types of commercial reads, and we need to you'll hear things like in the direction like, we want it kind of flat, or and this is a confusing one. They'll say they want an anthemic read, right? Which we kind of go, oh, anthemic, that means sort of big and grand and all that. But an anthemic read actually connotes that it's an anthemic commercial, and that the picture and the music and the voiceover together will create something that is anthemic, right? And so again, voice actors have to figure out our role and what that means, how we approach the microphone. It's a different set of questions of who we're talking to and all that, right? So the thing that distinguishes a brand imaging commercial, the way you can tell that what you have in your inbox is a brand imaging commercial audition, is that by and large, well, it'll say TV first, okay? That's a clue. But then added on to that is that, generally speaking, the product will not be mentioned. The name of the product will not be mentioned. The features of the product will not be mentioned. There's no price, right? So what are we selling, right? If we don't have a brand name, if we don't have a product name, if we don't have a price, and if we don't have a sale date, what are we selling? And what we're selling, what we're conveying, is the image of the brand, right? That's what we're doing. And it requires a different approach, right? How do you emphasize the product if there's no product mentioned? How do you emphasize the price if there's no price mentioned, right? So the reason that it's an important read and I would say that, back in the day, right? Back in my day, um, these kinds of commercials only took place on national network television. And they do take place there, absolutely still. But really, a television commercial, what qualifies as a television commercial is any commercial with picture, right? So you may get brand imaging commercials that only run on social media, or they only run on YouTube, right? So there's a higher percentage of our commercials these days are brand imaging commercials because uh, a social media buy is so much less expensive than a national network television buy, right, for an advertising agency. So while they may seem like kind of rare pieces of copy that we receive, we're actually seeing more and more of them because more and more businesses are wanting to impart the image of their brand, and they have a ton more places in which to do that. So the read remains the same, even though the buy, it's my little dog, there she is, even though the buy may be on social media, or it may be on national network television, right? So I hope that at least gives you an inkling, right? Like, I can't answer all the questions of how the read should go, right? Which is why I'm doing a workshop. But at least I hope that gives you a sense of what makes a brand imaging TV commercial different than other commercials that we might read for, right? And so I'm going to look and see who's here. I didn't say it, but I hope that you're saying hi. Oh, good. Fantastic. Hello, Jen. Hi, Christy. And good morning, Shauna. I'm glad that you're here. So let's see. What was I going to say? So it's a read that is really necessary for you to have in your voiceover tool belt that really, in my experience, isn't really distinguished, in other commercial voiceover classes. And so that's why I teach it. And that's why it's such a tiny little, sub-genre of commercials. But again, one that's necessary, one in which if you participate in the class, you'll feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like everything I was ever taught about commercial voiceover is being thrown out the window. And in fact, for a brand imaging commercial read, that is in fact what is happening. And so it's kind of fun to, it kind of, flips your world upside down a little bit. But it's super fun when you grasp the read and you get a sense of what it is that you're doing. And because a regular sort of commercial read where we're talking about a product and it has a price and it has a sale date and all those things, that particular read will never book you a brand imaging commercial. It never will, right? And the opposite is true. Like, a brand imaging commercial read isn't going to book you a commercial where you have to highlight the name of the product and all those things, right? So they are distinct. They're necessary. I don't find that they're often taught unless you take a long course, like sort of year-long training with one or two coaches who at a certain point in their coaching program address this kind of read. But again, it's pretty rare. So I want to tell you that probably, God, I'm so close. Just going to lean back for a bit. The quintessential brand imaging advertiser is Nike. They're quintessential. You never see a Nike commercial, trying to sell you Air Jordans on sale for $99.99 at Nike.com. Doesn't happen. They never sell product. They are always selling their image. So if you can, it happens a lot with car commercials, right? And usually those commercials have celebrities. Matthew McConaughey's whole Lincoln campaign is about the image of the brand. It's not about the car, It's about the image of the brand. It's and the and the goal of the commercial is to get the listener, when they see a Lincoln driving by, the goal is for that viewer to go, oh, I want to be the kind of person who drives that car. That's the goal, right? I want to be the kind of person that wears Nike. I want to be that kind of athlete, right? That's what we're after. So that is kind of my summary, right? So uh, I know that at the moment I'm kind of preaching to the choir because I know a few of you are in the class already, which I'm super excited about. I have audit, um, I have audit tickets left, and let me just speak briefly. Some of you got the email who are on my email list. About the benefits of being an auditor in such a class, and the number one benefit is that it's about a third the cost of being a participant in the class. Um, uh, you you really have this opportunity to if you're new to voiceover, um, and you're still a little trepidatious about stepping into a class, being an auditor is a great way to get your feet wet and to kind of toss off your fear about doing a workshop. I did that when I was first getting my feet wet in the world of animation. I did home study courses. Like, I didn't step into a workshop, right? I had to kind of get my bearings. And so before I was willing to step into a class and make a fool of myself, which is what we all should aim for. Like, stepping in with enough, enough wherewithal to go in and make mistakes, right? And so sometimes we're not ready to do that, right? And so auditing provides an opportunity to watch and to get a feel for things. And then the third thing is that you really, really learn a lot from watching other people. Like, you get to witness the transformation of the read. You get to see it, go from point A to point B to point C, right? Like, and that is a fascinating thing. And your mind is a little bit more open when you're not the one standing at the microphone with all your jitters, right? So it's a nice opportunity to be able to take in the class without the pressures of the class, if you will, right? So that's my spiel on the class. And so if you're a little bit hesitant about taking a workshop, I think an audit space is it's a really good thing to do. I'll post again the link and stuff, but that's really what I wanted to talk to about today. So so you could get a sense of what the snap I'm teaching, right? And the importance of having it in your toolkit. So I'm just going to go through here one more time and see if there are any questions. Hello, Rebecca. Fantastic. Hello. Nice to see you. Let's see. Okay, good. Well, Shauna, that would be awesome. Jen, I'm super happy that you're going to be in the class. Same, Christy. How are you, Rebecca Reedy? Are you good? You going to ever text me or call me? Sorry, I now have to take my dog out. That is about it. I will see you next Wednesday. I don't even know what the topic is, but it'll be something that y'all were interested in, because that's where I get my topics. So somebody did, in fact, ask me to address this brand imaging commercial read. So anyway, I adore you all. If you have any questions, as always, please put them in the comments section of this post or any post, or send me a direct message, and I am happy to answer whatever I can. So I will see you next week, and I hope you have a fantastic remainder of your week. All right, y'all. Mwah. Ciao.